100 Years of Christmas. I hate Christmas, Juanita cried as she ran from the hovel that her grandmother had filled with white paper streamers. The streamers had been hung to commemorate the long-ago birth of a Jewish baby boy. Juanita did not hate the streamers, though they hung limply from the rafters like pieces of used toilet paper floating down El Rio Martin. Neither did she hate the Jewish baby boy, whom she'd been taught was responsible for all the good things in the world. What Juanita hated was the butchering of the family chicken that happened every Christmas. This year, the victim would be Yoya, a mischievous brown hen that was Juanita's only friend. Juanita threw herself onto the dirt beneath the yard's old mango tree and wept. It was the same tree to which her grandfather, Francisco Espinosa Valdivieso de la Fuente, had been tied for 73 years, and beneath which he had eaten the meat of goats that Juanita's grandmother, Carmela Virginia Ojito de Los Angeles, had slaughtered by the full moon, tickling their bellies and singing de colores as she stabbed them in the neck with a sharp cuchillo. Juanita wrapped her arms around the tree, and against its trunk she hit her head. Boom, boom, boom! Do no hit your head, said a voice that was at once sweet and bitter, like the taste of milk that has dried on the corner of a baby pig's mouth. Juanita looked up. Hiding in the branches of a nearby gum bush, she discovered Manolito Javier Escobar, a poor neighbor boy who was so dirty that earthworms lived on his skin and sweet potatoes grew out of his belly button. Come, Manolito said, I will take you to where there is no Christmas. During his years tied to the mango tree, Juanita's grandfather had often urinated on its trunk, thereby imparting his wisdom to its fruit. So Juanita plucked a mango off a low branch and asked of it, Oh, wise one, should I go with this filthy boy? Do the thing you must, the mango replied, for a mango can be a cryptic fruit. Come, Manolito insisted, pulling Juanita to her feet. Together, they ran into the village of Los Mocos Verdes, past the statue of La Virgen de las Pesadillas, out of the village again, and into the mountains. There, an ancient indigenous woman with skin as thin as what's left behind by a molting gorgona snake greeted them by throwing garbanzo beans at their heads. Do not hurt us, Manolito said. We have come to escape Christmas. Foolish boy, said the old woman. You cannot escape Christmas. But you can make it nice. How can I make it nice? Asked Juanita. I will tell you. For a price. Having no money, Juanita gave the old woman a sweet potato from Manolito's belly. In exchange, the old woman drew from her pocket a dead iguana and said, An iguana is lucky. He can make anything nice. But it's dead, said Juanita. Don't matter. So Juanita took the lucky iguana and followed Manolito back to her hovel, where she found Abuelita sleeping under the kitchen table, as was her custom. Then she noticed an olla, bubbling and farting over the kitchen fire. Ay! Juanita cried, and she ran to the pot. But it was only filled with frijoles left over from lunch. Juanita was so relieved that her legs turned to flan and she sank onto the floor. But a moment later, she was up again because she knew what she had to do. The next day was Christmas, and Juanita awoke to the sound of Abuelita sharpening her cuchillo. Abuelita, wait! Do not kill Yoya, Juanita said. I made the Christmas stew last night. Abuelita scowled. She took the cover off the pot and looked inside. What is this? Lizard, said Juanita. Lizard? Abuelita sniffed the stew, her lip rising in disgust. But she picked up a cuchara and had a taste. She said. It tastes like pollo. And so, that evening, Juanita and Abuelita placed the kitchen table under the mango tree and had lizard stew for their Christmas dinner, while nearby, Yoya played with a tortilla. Creak! A twig snapped in the gungun bush. It was Manolito, sitting in the branches and grinning like a tamarin with a stolen papaya. Juanita thought he looked different, as if he had washed. And then she noticed that the setting sun had turned everything gold, like the color of a newborn capybara. And Juanita smiled, for in her heart, she was grateful to the Jewish baby boy for filling the world with so many good things.